Many travel videos on social media on Turkiye are about travel stories, culture, people, shopping, history, and the famous Al-Fatih, Sultan Muhammad Al-Fatih. Prophets, where they lived, died, wife, kids, people. Mostly, the travel videos focus on personal lives and society of that time. This is good. However, something very important is forgotten. Not many or hardly any of those videos did sharing on Mulkiyah. What is Mulkiyah? Maliki Yawmiddin, Malikin Nas. We recite this every day, but where is it in our daily lives? Mulkiyah is the land or kingdom where Islam ruled. The land or kingdom where the laws of God was carried out, holy and justice was experienced. As a result, rahmatan lil alamin, blessings, peace, tranquility are felt on earth. Mulkiyah, a land or kingdom where Muslims lived Islam, not just wear Islam or worship 5 times a day. In short, Mulkiyah is a time and place where Muslims made Islam a way of life, a complete way of life, not partially or selectively, but wholly, kafah, as commanded in the Quran, Al-Baqarah 208.
O people of faith, enter into Islam kafah, whole, and do not follow the footsteps of Satan, devil. No doubt he is your open enemy.
Modeled by the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ 1400 years ago and followed by the rightly guided Caliphate. Because Muslims have been living in a secular world or a nationalist system for so long, Mulkiyah, which is mentioned in Al-Fatiha and other surah, are forgotten and buried with the ruins and remains of Islamic civilization. Hence, this video is made to surface the forgotten and the buried parts. This video is made to also highlight the function of history in Quran. Whatever happened in the past also is happening now and will happen in the future. History is mentioned around 1,000 times in Quran. Why? Because characteristics of people and situations of the people in the past are happening today in the same form or different form. How about technological changes and cultural changes? No. Those technological and cultural changes do not make the past irrelevant. So I would like to clarify the function of history in the Quran. It does not have a time limitation, seasonal limitation, and no cultural limitation. In Surah Al-Hajj, verse 46.
So have they not traveled through the earth and have hearts by which to reason and ears by which to hear? For indeed, it is not eyes that are blinded, but blinded are the hearts which are within the breasts.
This is why this video is made, to link the past to the present, to link the history in the Quran to the present day life. How do we do that? Well, Quran is the guide. It's also the navigator, Prophet as the role model, and Akal to connect the puzzle. For what purpose at the end of the day? To identify the ibrah, the lesson, and Amar Ma'ruf, Nahi Munkar. My name is Azrin, your host of this 6-part Docutravel, a traveler, a historian who uses Quran and Prophet's example like the navigator, GPS, Waze, Google, to talk about the places and people as you will see from this video. I will also share some travel tips, interesting food, interesting stuff, and rare findings, so this video has a bit of everything for everyone who is on a budget and likes to travel. Let's start! Jom! When we arrived at Istanbul airport, we immediately drove to Bursa and stayed at a flat booked through Airbnb. From the room of our flat, this is the view at night. Isn't it fantastic? You must be wondering, why Bursa? Why is it the first place we go to? Now, Osman, where Osmaniyah came from, Ottoman also came from the word Osman. Osman and his son Orhan both captured this place Bursa from the Roman Byzantium. Osman's father Ertuğrul Gazi first established Islam in Sogut, and I will come to Sogut later. But now, after Osman's father established Islam in Sogut, his son Osman expanded it to Bursa. The land from Sogut to Bursa is the first mulkiyah on the land of Anatolia. On both lands, the laws of Allah were carried out and justice were felt by the people here. Now, surely you can see this small village. This is called Chuma Likazik. It has an Ottoman house built in this small village, which is about 700 years old. The roads, as you can see, is still retained in its original way. If you're able to touch the houses, you can see the houses were built with mud and stones. The people here are good with their hands, a crafty lot. Till today, you can see from the display here. In the morning, people here drink chai, which is tea, or ayran, a type of yogurt which is very refreshing. And they eat various types of bread with cheese. Morning bread, afternoon bread, night bread, just a different name. Now, what is more important is the castle here. This is the castle where Osman and his son managed to siege and capture it from the Roman Byzantium. And here is the Green Mosque complex called Kulliye. This Green Mosque complex is the witness, is a testament where mulkiyah was once actualized. You see, the function of a mosque when Islam ruled the land is different from the mosque in a secular era or Muslim countries. A mosque in Islam is where the administration and governance according to the Quran happened. I'll show you here. In this mosque, the left and the right are where people bring their claims, their complaints, their pain points to the Qadi. And Qadi will give judgments, settle their disputes according to the Quran as the primary source and Rasul as a second source, as stated in Surah 4, An-Nisa, verse 59.
O believers, obey Allah and obey the Messenger and those in authority among you. Should you disagree on anything, then refer it to Allah and His Messenger if you truly believe in Allah and the Last Day. This is the best and fairest resolution.
Well, if they need to refer to other kitabs after the primary and secondary source, they can do so as the third source. In the middle is the fountain. So when the Qadi is talking, others cannot hear. There is no door at this time. It is open yet private. Interesting. Here, the small places, as you can see, are where people wait for their turns to meet the Qadi. On top here, it's a bit elevated. It's where 5 times daily Salah happens. Can you see the 4 caliphs' name mentioned there? Abu Bakr, Umar, Ali, and Usman. It is to remind the Sultan, Emir or the ruler, whoever it was, to make these 4 caliphs as the role model. Today, secular leaders are framed on the wall of a building, office, and university instead. Can you see this thing below here? It's a place where the rich, or people who can afford, put food so the poor, who is maybe shy to ask, can take it without hesitant. The poor can take it when the Salah is being carried out. Nobody knows who is the giver or who is the taker. Isn't this interesting? The mosque is also the place for shura. Osman and Harran will usually go for advice or receive advice here, either from their teacher Sheikh Adabali on Islam, on Quran, regarding justice, governance, business, or from other aspects. The mosque is also a place for education on all things. For example, on how to conduct business in Islam, bring up family, marriage, or worship matters like how to salat or fast. The top stairs, as you can see, is a madrasah for learning. Outside the mosque and around this mosque are also the madrasah. This is why it is called a kulliye, a complex that contains everything in one place. A place for education, governance, welfare, and worship. Salat. Isn't it different from today, where mosque is only used for Salat? The rest of the time, the mosque is empty and become like a museum for tourists, like you see here. When all matters about life is handled and conducted at one place, which is the mosque is a one-stop center for everything. Knowledge is not secularized or compartmentalized. Instead, a whole understanding is achieved, and justice is not skewed to one side only. Kozahan in Bursa is the marketplace. Do you know what's interesting about this place? The shops around here are all centered around a small mosque right in the middle. It's as if to remind people of Allah and His laws when they buy and they sell, and when they say something or when they don't say something. No need to go to another building. Today, a place to pray like surah or musalla is located inside a mall or office somewhere at the end or a corner. Can't be seen or heard. Now let's move to Sogut, the birthplace, the starting point of Uthmaniyah. Sogut is like Yathrib. It's the first land in Anatolia where Islam was established by Ertugrul Ghazi. Ertugrul Ghazi is a father of Osman, and he laid the foundation for Osman. Ertugrul Ghazi got the land, Sogut, from the Seljuk Sultan, and Ertugrul decided to make Islam the law on this land, not Islam the religion. At this time, the caliphate was Abbasiyah, and Ertugrul continued to govern according to Islam. Hanli Bazaar flourished because it was a free market. No need to pay rent. No oppression of any form, including interest or usury, is allowed. The monetary system was gold. Even during the Roman Byzantium period, it was gold as well. The non-Muslims on Ottoman land only had to pay jizya, and the rate was lower when they were ruled by Roman Byzantium, according to Dr. Ahmad from Kayseri. Non-Muslims were also free to practice their belief. They are not persuaded to convert their religion to Islam because there was no need to do so. Unlike today, non-Muslims are persuaded on the streets from preachers like a street da'wah. But when Islam ruled the land, non-Muslims entered Islam willingly due to the justice, safety they felt, and the behaviors of Muslims they see, not because of they are enticed by the street da'wah or preaching. This conversion of non-Muslims to Muslim was a gradual process, not a quick one and not a fixed one. This place is called Bilecik. I hope I pronounce it correctly. A place where the teacher of Harran and Osman, Ghazi, lived and died. The teacher name is Sheikh Adabali, a Sufi, but a different kind of Sufi we see today. A Sufi that is active not just in worship, spiritual matters, but also in governance, justice, strategy, and business. Sheikh Adabali is also the first judge, Qadi of Uthmaniyah. An all-rounder, you could say. He makes things from clay and turn it into crafts and sell them, instead of asking or expecting money from Osman or the people of Bursa. It's no wonder that Ertugrul have high respect for Sheikh Adabali, that he advised or made a will to his son, Osman, which is to respect his teacher and not hurt his feelings. There's a saying in English, when the student is ready, the teacher will appear. So, the right student, the right teacher, and the right society. Islamic civilization was born and flourished here.